And I am one of the corporate trainers here at Sprout Mortgage. So hopefully you'll see your beautiful name on the screen there. And we're, of course, you know Michelle, so she's my great counterpart. And today we're going to go through the products that you will be eventually rolling out or offering. So you'll have an idea of kind of what you're going to be able to play with and work with. So, you know what, I've had little issues with, so you'll see, actually, Michelle, there we go. Your product offerings, are you seeing product offerings? Or are you seeing Mountain West?
Mountain West.
Seeing Mountain West.
Okay. I have a little delay. So product offerings, we're going to have your non-QM full doc. Here is your code number. What this pretty much is a 30-year fixed jumbo. Then the other product you're going to offer is a bank statement product, which is a 30-year fixed, along with a very high balanced 30-year fixed bank statement. So we're going to review those. And then the other product is going to be our non-QM jumbo fixed, and that is the 1 year. So this, I'm kind of highlighting them real quickly. 1 year income. So just kind of think you're not doing agency, you're not doing jumbo, you're not doing 2 years W-2s and 2 years tax returns. You're doing 1 year W-2 and 1 year tax return and/or. The only time you're going to need additional documentation if you're doing a 1 year W-2 is if your client has some kind of adjustable income. So if they have overtime or commission or bonus, then they're probably going to ask for a VOE to show that income and average that out a bit, but otherwise it's just 1 year. And the best part, this is going to rally that 1 year tax return that agency allows. But remember, agency requires you to have a 5-year self-employment history, where with ours, it's only going to be the 2 years. So this might be a really good product to just gap that until you can get them back into an agency. So the one thing, if you're not familiar with non-QM, these loans aren't really meant to, keep your clients in for years and years. They're really a nice offering if they don't fit for the reason they came in. They came to get an agency file, they don't fit agency. They came to get a jumbo file. I'm not meeting the 43 back end. I'm not meeting the reserve requirement. You guys have now other options to put your clients into to solve the reason, give them a solution for what they came to you for, but then also knowing you can counsel them saying, once we fix it, get your score up, get your reserves up, season you on your job, whatever that case may be, we can then get you back into, a normal agency or jumbo loan. So on this one, you're going to see goes up to 90. The beauty is as well, no mortgage insurance. So none of our products come with any MI. This one goes to 4 million. So hopefully that's a big enough jump for you guys to accommodate, the majority of your clients. And all occupancies are allowed. So if you are looking to do a second home and an investor or an investment property, not a problem. You can just do 1 year tax return, go buy an investment property. So here's the highlights. All of our product types are available, fixed or adjustable. This is open to right now U.S. citizens, U.S. persons, meaning there's no foreign nationals here. But look at your property types. You've got all kinds of property types to work with as long as your occupancy. Minimum loan amounts, very attainable. 100,000 would be the minimum. Max, if you're going over 85, then we're looking for 4.5 million. This is a really key here. And we love this. We do not have a cash out maximum, meaning if your client has a property that they might be own it free and clear, or they're at 40% and their properties were 6 million and they want to pull out 2 million, not a problem. As long as they stay within our cash out LTVs and meet that score bucket, you're good to go. So we don't have a max cash out. You can get as much cash as that FICO and the LTV bucket allows. Very cool. And you'll see it goes up to 85 on our cash out. Scored 640. Credit a lot easier than agency. So this might be a reason. You might have somebody that actually had to do a BK, 4 years ago, actually just 2 years ago. And if it's at least 2 years old, we can go to 65%. If they have the 4 years, so way more than agency, right? Then they can get up to the full 90%. They get the full parameters as long as there's 4 year seasoning on any those major credit events. So pretty nice there. Very easy product. The key here is 1 year income, right? 1 year W-2. 50%. You don't see this on a jumbo loan. You're always looking at 43, right? So you can go up to 50%. You'll see the mortgage and rental history is very easy. Pretty much nothing in the last 12 months. If you're going over 85, if you're less than 85, you can have one, but in the later 6 months, not in the most previous. We allow gift funds, and that includes our our investor product. So if you wanted to do an investment property on this, you could also use gift funds. So that's pretty nice. Loan amounts, reserve requirements, very easy. This is also, you'll see, is not jumbo-ish at all. Up to 2 million is only 6 months. Over 2 is 12. Now, the additional reserves, I want to explain that real quick. Let's say your client has one investment property and they're purchasing a primary. We would only increase their reserves by 1 month. So this 6 would go to 7 to account for that one investment property if they're buying a primary or second home. If they're purchasing an additional investment property, so let's say your borrower wants to go buy an investment property on this product and they own one, then we would up it by 2 months. So that 6 months would go to 8 months on your subject property. So it's 1 month if they're purchasing a primary or second home, 2 months if it's investment per each, finance property. So if they had 2 or 3 rentals, that'd be 6, and 6 would be 12 months. Now, the nice part is, let's say you're pushing on this 50%. I used my 1-year tax return and I'm still, you may be at 52. We have our asset depletion product that you can use as an additional source of income. So let's say they don't have rental income, I don't have pension income or maybe dividend or interest, any of the normal additional sources, you could use some money in the bank and we could use that as an additional source of income, as long as we don't go over 15% of their total income. Meaning, if let's say if they make $10,000 a month, we could then put up to $1,500 towards their income to get to that, or get that 50 back into work.
And just, I kind of want to interject. I'm sorry, Bonnie.
Nope.
I did want to interject right here on the asset depletion. So how we calculate the asset depletion is we take the reserves or the cash that they have either in the bank, savings, whatever accounts that it is that you're not using for reserves or for down payment that is extra, right? In addition to whatever reserve requirements are, that you can take that and divide that by 60 months. And that would be the income that we could use as long as it doesn't exceed 15%. So that's how we get to that asset depletion income. And then I did want to also kind of bring up about on this program for income, for rental income. So if you have somebody, let's say a W-2 wage earner and you don't want to get into the tax returns, you don't have to get into the tax returns for their other properties that they own. What you can do for income is you get the rental agreement and 3 months of bank statements to show what their rental income is, and then you take the 75% off of that instead of using the tax returns. So that's also helpful to get you, keep your debt ratio in line.
Yes, all good information. So the key is always reach out to Michelle, because she's got it down. She'll be able to help you figure out how that to work. Any other questions? You can use you guys can use the chat box. I don't think we have too big of a crowd. So if you want to just open up and unmic yourself, please do. So anytime, don't be hesitant to interrupt me at all. So questions on any of the non-QM, the jumbo fixed? Okay, so let's get into the bank statement products. You'll see the NS30S, and this is the NF30S HB high balance. So the great part about our bank statement program, it's probably one of our most popular products. So hopefully, excuse me, you're going to be able to use this. The thing you want to think about bank statements is self-employed borrowers, right? Typically, you're having to use their tax returns to qualify them. I have to take a sip of water. The nice part is that 2 reasons that might not work. 1, you might have to average those 2 years. Maybe this year wasn't so good. This year's a lot better. You're bringing down their income by having to drag that other year on there. Or they want, you use their 2-year income. their income's qualifying them for maybe 350,000, but the dream house that they just found is at 400 and 425. So 2 reasons where to look at bank statements, the reason to use them. Give them a little more cash flow so they can, qualify for a higher amount, or just use the last 12 months. Don't worry about that other year that was maybe a little less than that previous year. So kind of mindset on bank statements, it means that they don't qualify at all, but maybe they want to buy a little more than their bank statement qualifies for, right? So you're going to have that option for them. Of course, one person needs to be self-employed. The co-borrower can be W-2'd. You can just submit W-2s and pay stubs for them. Nationwide, up to 90%. Once again, that no mortgage insurance, up to 4 million. Very similar as our full doc, right? You're going to see very similar qualities, but this one's using bank statement. This one is for California only. Really big. You'll see it goes up to $8.5 million. Restrictive on LTV, also on primary and only second homes and some of the product type. But, if you guys are in California, a lot of those areas, the normal loan amounts aren't working for them. So they're having to go to a little high. A lot of times that 65 is going to totally work for them. Real quick, how we do bank statements. And the beauty is, and Michelle kind of will highlight a little bit more, we do this for you. Okay. If anybody has sat down and looked at 12 or 24 months and started to line item each item, it's a daunting task, right? Then you're like, I'm not sure what if they're going to use this deposit or not. What's the expense factor going to be applied? A lot of variables go into that. We remove all that stress from you. We will do this income for you before you submit your file. So we will get this done ahead of time. You'll see it's not black and white. We have 4 different methods that we can apply to the bank statements. It all depends, along with all the different industries we work with. You gotta realize how many different companies and industries are out there. So these kind of 2 have been morphed together, to be honest with you. The most popular was this business account analysis. What we did is we averaged the 12 or 24 months, divided by 12 or 24, and applied an expense factor based on the business type. If it didn't quite fit in this business, we went ahead and did the same thing, but we just gave them 50% of their income, just give them half. We've kind of done that now with this. So these 2 are a little bit the same, we call this our general business account, as our general businesses, which could be any retail, any restaurant, any distribution company, any manufacturing company, smaller businesses, any general business, okay? We're going to put the 50% on there. Personal account. When do we use personal business? You can actually do a combination of personal and business. When you would do that would be, you have a client that owns a manufacturing company, but he W-2s himself. Well, we want to give him his W-2 income. So hopefully he deposits that in his personal account. We can get 12 or 24 months showing all of those W-2s and give him all of that income, 100%, right? We don't want to hit expense factor. Then we would take his business and apply the business account analysis, add it up, divide by 12/24, apply that expense factor, and give him that income as well. The other time we would use this would be, let's say I'm a tutor. I work from home. I tutor college kids. I don't have a business account. It's just me. So then we could use my personal account and do 12 or 24 months and then apply a smaller expense factor that I'll go to on the next slide. Now, 1099. All your realtors are 1099, everybody. You've got a whole plethora of people to go hit up because we can use their 1099 or their bank statements. And Michelle's really good at kind of explaining the best way to do these. So depending on, it really kind of depends on the time of year, really which is going to reflect the best for your client. Like right now, we're in November. Using last year's 1099 probably isn't as beneficial. Let's get 12 months, November to November, or let's say October to October. Go ahead, give them 90% of that income. Average it up, give them 90%. The 1099s, we will go ahead and use that, but it might be more beneficial for your client, say January, February, when we've just had last year. You can give us the same thing. We have to verify their 1099, give us their year-end 1099, go ahead and give them 90% of that. So you kind of have the two best of both worlds. You can do either one, or when you get into the middle of the year, you've got last year's and then you've got 5 or 6 months. maybe use a combination of a year-to-date and the 1099, or just go back and do 12 months and 12 months, right? Because you can split it. So, once again, 1099, they're pretty much self-employed. Realtors, loan officers, all of, there's a lot of IT guys that are 1099 as well. So you can offer them bank statements and give them, the key here is, Michelle, it's 90% of their income. That's huge, right? So questions, or Michelle, any other color? The one thing too, declining income and increasing, kind of be mindful of this, especially if you're using 24 months. If the most recent are declining, then they're going to use those last 12 months. Okay, just FYI, they're not going to go ahead and average it. They're going to use the last 12. But if it's increasing and you're using 24, then maybe you might want to squeeze it to 12, so we don't take all that increasing income and average it over 24 months. Maybe we want to cram it all into the last 12 and get them a little more money. So just be mindful of that income.
Hey, Bonnie, it looks like you got some questions coming in on the chat box.
Yep. We need, can you see those?
No, you know what? I kind of have too many screens open. Here, let me see.
Okay, so the max cash out, I'm just going to kind of go through those. The max cash out in LTV for Texas cannot exceed 80%. We follow Texas guidelines on that, so so this would not override that. There are guidelines on that, and then do y'all? I like that. Do y'all
I like
request?
her. She's from Texas. Y'all.
Do y'all request a 4506T on personal bank statements? So on bank statement loans, we do not require a 4506. And on the 1099, the depending upon your FICO, you can go up to 90%. So 90% of the income up to 90% LTV. And is there a pricing adjustment for non-warrantable condos? There is. And then you also have some maximums on your LTVs for that as well. So you'll just we'll definitely be hunting through the matrix to find out what your borrower can and cannot qualify for. But also to just kind of reiterate, think about your client right here as a person. You're going to different mortgage companies, and their partners are a lot of times realtors. So when Bonnie's highlighting that realtor income, that is who your clients are going to get a lot of their business. So just even doing their own loan would be, I have a client that did the loan for one of their top producing realtors and bought a $2 million home. They had written off in 2020, they'd started a new business and had a $2 million write-off. They couldn't do taxes, but with the bank statement loan or the 1099 loan, they didn't have to provide any taxes or anything like that. So it was just straight up 90% of what she had earned last year and year to date to do the LTV and loan amount that they wanted. So just kind of getting you thinking outside the box. What this really entails is opening up a whole avenue of being able to qualify a lot of these self-employed borrowers, and then being able to use that extra income as well with that asset depletion, which I know Bonnie hasn't really gotten into too much here, but there's just a lot to be able to do, and it's just going to open up your world.
I mean, the only reason why I had asked about the 4506 is because on a personal, they don't ask it, but on a business, they do. So if they don't ask us, we can combine their personal and business bank statement without a 4506. Correct? Okay.
Yep.
That's what I wanted to know. Okay.
Yep.
Good questions, though. And sorry, now I have them. So Michelle can help via my pilot there. I'm looking at multiple screens. All right. So good questions. Now, so we're going to go on to, since you can see kind of all the different methods, and let's look a little bit on businesses. The really two ones I want to point out are this type 1 and type 2. Just put in your mind or make a little note. These are service providers. They don't have inventory. They don't sell anything. I don't have inventory. This is your my tutor that works from home. This is the piano teacher. It could be somebody that just has their own business and they work from home. Okay, you'll see we're going to give them 85% of their deposits, right? Very simple. Service business, no inventory. This is very similar, but we allow them to have a couple employees. So this could be your attorney. I am an attorney and I work from home, but you know what? I also have a paralegal that works for me. And, you know, they go down to the courthouse for me and they do all my running around. So you'll see my profit margins drop from 85 to 60 because they're figuring, okay, you're probably paying them a salary, right? So we're going to clean that in. So, but the two here, these are service providers, no inventory. Okay, so all kinds, you can think of all kinds of people that work from home. Your third one is that one I kind of told you is they just named it a general business. This could be anybody that's not, you know, your service providers. These typically have inventory. They have a restaurant, you know, they have a retail site. I sell cell phone cases and phones. You know, I have a clothes store. I do pottery, whatever the case may be. So we just given them half their income, just divide it by half. This category here is for your people that own car dealerships, or I sell big farm equipment, or, you know, I live in an area where there's orchards everywhere and everybody's got these big trucks that tear up everything. You know, they do boats, they do off-road vehicle. It also has, you know, heavy construction, all these big companies. It might be somebody that sells commercial land. So they're selling, you know, 100,000 acres here. They're selling, you know, half of that town there. Something's got really big deposits and really big expenses would be where we would dump them in here. And you'll see it's a very small profit margin. But I want to point out a fact, and I told this to you earlier, none of this is carved in stone and none of this is, you know, we have such great leeway in gray area. And the cool thing about our bank statement program is we do not require a P&L. You can just send in the bank statements. If our little expense factors that I've just highlighted work, you're good to go. But what if I am that small restaurant? You know, I have a small restaurant. It's family owned. There's only 7 of us that work there, and we're only open for breakfast and lunch. 50% is kind of big. We don't have 50% half of my profit margin. I got to keep it at 40 or I can't, you know, pay my brother. That's where the CPA statement comes in. So if this isn't working, you can supply a CPA statement, P&L type thing, and send it in within saying, look at, please analyze my bank statements. And this is really what their true expense factors are. They're more than happy to adjust that. Okay, it's not carved in stone, like I said. This can be adjusted. The rule is for type 2, 3, and 4. If you want to have that adjusted, please submit that CPA statement. They will adjust it, but the max profit margin they're going to give on any of the 2, 3, and 4 is 70%. So they're going to hit everybody with at least 30% expense factor, which is very fair. So if you feel that the outlined expense ratio is too hard or isn't going to qualify, please submit that statement. So questions on any of the types of businesses. These are easy. People that work from home. This could be a realtor, right? But they're 1099, so they're going to fall into our 1099 bucket. That's here. You know, these are for smaller businesses. Like I said, I'm trying to think of other businesses: bookkeeper, tutor, piano teacher, guitar teacher, anybody that goes out and provides a service.
Yeah, and there are a couple questions in here, so I'm going to go ahead and ask those. It says, can you have multiple income streams for a 1099 borrower that includes, say, a realtor who has a part-time job, a wage earner job, I should say, owns rental property, etc.? And yes, absolutely, you can have extra other income for that 1099 program. Not a problem. And then what documentation do you require to verify number of employees or type? We usually ask for a CPA or tax prepared letter that states that they have what they're that they are, first of all, that they are self-employed, or that they and how many employees and how long they've been self-employed. That's usually going to be the requirement on that.
They also, we ask you to fill out this form, and Michelle, also we need to verify their percentage of ownership. And this is another really cool thing about Sprout. Most of our competitors need at least 50 or 100%. We allow your client to own, as long as they own 25% of the business, they're allowed to use bank statements. But that's going to come into play how much income we give them. So they only own 25%. We're only going to give them 25% of once we average it and divide it, right? So this form really helps in a number of different ways. One, it tells, you know, if you sent in bank statements that were DC Enterprises, that could be anything, right? It could be cell phone covers, or they can manufacture parts for, you know, spacecraft or something. So we kind of say, hey, tell me what the business is, how many employees do they have, what is your percentage of ownership? And there's a list that Michelle can give you. There's a number of different documents you could submit to show proof of ownership. It could be an LLC corporation paper. It could be something from the CPA, as easy as that. It could be a license, anything that documents that percentage of ownership. Then down here, personal business, are you using both of them, a combination? You know, you could use both, and you brought up multiple businesses. You can have, you know, I could have my distribution company over here, and then I also on the side do honey, because I do honey groves in my backyard. You know, you can have multiple businesses. Just, you know, do whatever you submit, as many additional bank accounts. You can have maybe 4 business accounts on that one company. It could be, you could have 4 different locations. You're monitoring each location's cash flow. So I have 4 different accounts. So yes. And then also be mindful too, if you have transfers going back and forth. So you'll see transfers to account 2758, but you didn't submit account 2758. So they're going to say, well, what is that account? And, you know, can we get it? Is it some other personal account? Are you going back and forth to your savings, or what the story is that? So, and down here, as Michelle said, it could come from the CPA, but let them know what it is. You know, I've had my business for 10 years. I have 50 employees. I make airplane parts, you know, whatever the case may be. So this form really helps, and Michelle probably will help you with that form as well. So were there more questions? Yeah, I'm on like 3 different screens. So let me click here. So it looks like we're good. Okay. So now this one is a non-fixed 30-year fixed rate, adjustable rate. You'll see no foreign nationals, 1 to 4, all the property types, all the occupancy types, back up to 4 million. This is the bank statement program, sorry. You'll see no P&L is required. 640, pretty easy score. 1 borrower has to be self-employed, and we do need that the income analysis prior to when you guys submit the file. Okay, so please make sure we get those to the loan scenario team. They'll do your income. They send out a really pretty analysis for you. Get that and put that in your file. 90%, once again, no mortgage insurance. Where's that lovely 50 back end again? You've got that same credit parameter. So once you guys understand that, it's just going to flow through all of your products that you have, along with that mortgage rent, the mortgage or rental history. We allow gift funds. That reserve requirement's the same. You can use asset depletion in addition. And once again, there is no P&L required, but if you feel that expense factor is a little high, CPA statements may be supplied if it doesn't benefit that borrower. Okay. So very, very cool bank statement program. And the last one is, of course, now you had the California high balance full doc. Now you've got it in bank statements. So here we have the bank statements. Same product, same parameters, California only. 65%. Please note the minimum loan amount. I'm sure you guys would all love that in your portfolio. A nice little $2 million is your minimum loan amount, but it goes to $8.5 million. You'll see very strict on the credit parameters. No major ones in the last 7 years, but 4 years for an NOD or a loan mod. Max cash out, go up to 2,720,000, 50 back end. We do not allow gift funds on this California loan. And the reserve requirements are very, you know, represent what you would do on a really super jumbo loan. It's 18 months. And then if they do have, you know, a rental property, make sure you kick that up by 1 or 2 months. And then you can use the asset depletion to help if you can't get to that 50 back end. So a really cool product, you know, go market the big dollar areas. You know, you've got Santa Barbara, you got Irvine, Orange County. I don't think anything in Orange County is under $1.2 million now, even on a little tract house. So, you know, this might really come into play. Santa Barbara would be awesome. You know, anywhere up in the hills around Sonoma and things like that. Or San Francisco, what am I thinking? San Diego, any place, right? So along with those great products, you have an incredible, very dedicated account executive. It sounds like you all know her and love her. And then, of course, we are always here to help you. So if additional training is needed, please reach out to Michelle. We can schedule another training. If you want to just do a deep dive into one of the products, we can do that. If you'd like us to present to a realtor group, if you guys work with a realtor group or one of your clients do, we can do that. So anything else, any of your business affiliate partners, we'd be happy to help. All
Yeah,
right,
and I
Michelle?
wanted,
Yeah.
and I wanted to just kind of take some takeaways that I want to make sure that you got out of this. So everything except for the high balance, you have gift, no problem. You can get a gift for the whole down payment. You don't have to have your own funds, okay? And then cash out, no max except the high balance. There's no max cash out. So you can have a property worth $2 million, $3 million. If whatever they qualify for, they can pull all cash out. You'll get a condition to find out what the cash out is for, but there's no cash out. There's no mortgage insurance on any non-QM product. So that's another thing. And then the 1099, I think it's a great product to be able to sell to your have your clients sell to their partners, and just any other 1099 type borrower. It's an easy loan to do. And then the debt ratio, 50%. So it leaves a lot of room, and having the ability to use other income and not strictly just bank statements or just 1099, you can open that up to the other income that they also have. So those are the kind of takeaways I think that I want to make sure that you realize that those are really good selling points when you're talking to your clients. And I see a question from...
I see Connie's hand up. I don't know,
Yes.
is that the old one, or did you have a new question?
No, yes. What I was wondering is, as far as scenario goes, when we have a scenario situation, or if we want to see whether or not, with the calculation sheet that y'all have, whether or not it's going to be a go or no go, do we go to Michelle in regards to our scenarios? Or,
Yep.
Certain thing? I mean,
Yep.
I'm just trying to figure out who we would address that to.
Yep, go ahead and address that to me. And then when it comes to the bank statements and information like that, I'll go ahead and submit it to the loan scenario team, but I'll take a look at it first and kind of help walk you through it in case there's something else that needs to be kind of identified. I've been doing bank statements for at least 14 years at least. So I can whip through a set of bank statements and identify information that stands out really quickly and kind of identify it instead of you just waiting to get it back from the loan scenario team and lose a couple days. So
Right, that's what I was about. That was my next question. I was going to say what your turnaround time is.
It's like 24 to 48 hours.
Okay.
So it's usually within that 20, it's just probably I would say it's right within that 24 and maybe just a tad over, and doesn't quite ever get to that 48 hours, but that's about where it's at. And like I said, I'm happy to help you to get to there.
So when we reach out to you for scenario, do you want the 1003, the credit check, the credit report, any of that?
No, this is just the income analysis portion for you guys to go ahead and look through, the matrix. I can help you with that, of course, but you can go through and see what it qualifies for. And I see Monica has a question as well.
Hey, let me jump in there real quick, just so we don't get too far away from this. To stay consistent, we really recommend we go through our scenario desk. That's why everybody's in tune with stuff. I saw Angie just sent something out, and that's why it's not that anybody's done anything wrong, but we don't want to come back and have to tell our group and our group has, it just creates a disconnect.
Okay, no problem. No problem.
We could be in Angie's world. I'm okay with that. Be in Angie's world.
No problem. I'll be in Angie's world, right?
Yeah. Where is Miss King? I don't see Angie. Angie's
on there.
And then Monica, we can talk offline if you want to talk about that question.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
That was Monica's question. So once you guys figure out your protocol, then just let everybody know.
Oh, I like how Monica is syncing with me. That's good, Monica. Thank you.
Yep, we're on the same page there. But are there any other questions like specific to the programs that you have? I think it's just going to open up, good sized loan amounts. Great.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. I'm super excited. Brian knows that.
Great.
Yeah, it's really a lot of fun to be able to offer something else to those self-employed type borrowers that and
Right.
even, you know, and even your other borrowers on the
The
on
1
the
year.
just the jumbo one. Yeah, where you have the 1-year income doc, the less you don't have to have so much on the BK, and it allows for lates and stuff like that. So yeah.
I didn't see anything on student loans. That's
What
okay.
do you want to see on there?
Well, I meant as far as the percentage, I didn't see that part. Y'all, how you guys are doing, if you
Yeah,
guys do
I mean, basically,
amortization on it
kind
or
of,
not, and count the
it kind of
amortization, or if you just do.
yeah, it just kind of follows Fannie, but they'll probably, I think you guys will have probably more guidelines to help you a little bit on that. But yeah, there are certain parts that where we don't have something specific that it will
Right.
defer to a Fannie.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So
Thank you, Michelle.
absolutely. Thank
right,
you,
well,
Connie.
yeah.
Thank you all for attending as well. It's really nice to see all the faces. I would have mine up, but I have to do it for my laptop, and the camera quality is horrid.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Oh, now Brian knows you have a camera. He's gonna make you turn it on.
That's right.
We
I
got
Hey,
gotta figure
I
out how to
was-
hook it up with a
Yeah.
different camera. I gotta
My
figure it out.
litmus-
I'll do it.
My litmus test is if Dale can show his face, we all can show our face.
Yeah, we wanted to have the face with the name, you know.
That's right.
That is true.
That means Michelle just has to come visit.
That's